Chapter 19, 90% is waste. What a staggering statement. Most people say, "No way, Paul. I'm very productive." Then I retort, you and I are extremely productive at producing non-value-added activity. Since the dawn of time, man has been in pursuit of being more productive. Just think of all the great innovations like the wheel, the windmill, the steam engine, the automobile, and the airplane. It is in our DNA to improve. But the way we improve and the process we deploy can also be very efficient waste generators. In the lean world, there is something called the spaghetti trail. A simple lean exercise would be to chart the walking path of how a particular person would travel to perform a common task, like emptying the dishwasher. Most of us are shocked at the amount of non-value added activity. Walking, reaching, opening, closing, compared to the value-added activity, getting the dishes and the silverware in the cabinet and drawers. The actual value-added time is a millisecond compared to all the waste. The same is true of a computer jock who spends most of their time clicking on the computer and searching for documents, as opposed to adding value of changing and improving something. I am acutely aware of waste, and many times I see 10 emails exchanged by me and my associates when it would have taken one or two at the most. 90% of everything you and I do every day is waste. That is just a statistical reality. Human beings have a natural capacity to create and develop and improve. However, it is essential that we develop and utilize this to its full potential. We are problem solvers at our core, at the very design of the way we are made. But more often than not, we don't tap into the innate potential because we don't have a good process to harness it. We are not ants that go in and out and grab a grain of sand and pull it out, stack it, and dig a hole. We go in, grab a grain of sand, pull it out, stack it, and have the capacity to ask, how can I do it better? And we build an excavator. The key is to create a strategy, a deliberateness, a methodology that taps into that God-given genius. Perhaps that is why I'm so passionate about lean, because it does exactly that. It is a system that taps into the genius that God infused and designed into all of us. Perhaps the most powerful story I can use to illustrate the amount of waste in processes and the effectiveness of lean strategy is the story of our graphic design department. I must admit that I've never found it easy to work with graphic designers. They are more prone to the artistic side and often lack a natural predilection to process improvement. Forgive me, all you graphic designers out there. My daughter's one of them, so I can say that with a little bit of hubris. At one point, we had 2 full-time graphic designers and were always backlogged with work. As I would work with them, I noticed an excessive amount of opening and closing files and searching for files and copying. I couldn't understand how this process could be so convoluted. When I would question them about it, they would respond by saying, "That is just how graphic design works." I knew it could be improved dramatically, regardless of how much I taught them about lean and prodded them to improve the process. I was not successful in getting the significant process improvements. Finally, my frustration was too much for one of the designers, and she quit. Yes, this is an example of Paul being a bad leader. I never said I was perfect. The second one had to be dismissed, and instead of hiring another professional, I brought in Graham from the shop floor. He was a self-trained graphic designer who had been working on the shop floor and making 2-second improvements and doing an exceptional job at it. Remember, he was not a formally trained graphic designer. In a matter of weeks, he was able to learn the necessary skills, figure out where things were stored, and catch up where we were behind. Finally, I had someone who applied lean to the graphic design department, and now, not only were we caught up, but he had turned a 2-person full-time job into a 1-person job with time to spare. Today, most jobs get done within an hour of the time they are given to them. I call that flow. He is relentless about improvement. I can't remember the last time I had to ask him to make an improvement because he employs lean principles with every mouse click. Not only does he accomplish the design job of 2 people, but he helps out in 3 other significant departments on a daily basis. This illustrates how 90% of what we do is waste.
Chapter 19, the one thing. 90% of what we do is waste. Hi, I'm Ryan Atchison, Lean Maniac, and finisher at Sticky RX, Orchard Park, New York. We started our lean journey April 1st, 2019. And when we did, our facility looked fantastic. Clean lines, very bright, and appeared to be very organized. Our shop seemed really good, but nothing had a place. Tools weren't in the areas where we needed them. We traveled a lot of overprocessing. So when we started this journey, the important thing was to learn the 8 ways. Not memorize them, but learn them and cultivate them and embed them into our culture and our everyday life. But as we learned the culture and learned the 8 ways, own those principles, we were able to develop awareness and intention and give ourselves permission to stop and fix what bugs us. I think that's the hardest part about the culture is being able to stop. Give yourself permission to stop and fix what bugs you. So when you see waste, you're eliminating it immediately. These small increment improvements, which accumulate and create a fantastic culture of ease when you work, and you are not creating a lot of non-value activity. I again urge you to give yourself permission to eliminate the waste, because 90% of what we do is waste.
There are endless opportunities to eliminate the waste and let value flow to our customers internally and externally.